I tell you, you ought to hear what we're discussing during the breaks. Rick Ross on the ground floor of the CIA crack cocaine epidemic. He wants to get into hip hop and how it's a weapon. And of course, a lot of insiders like Professor Griff and others have documented that. I've talked to famous people that I can't say their names, multiple major rock and roll stars who were in the meetings at MTV where they said, sorry, rock and roll's gone. We're bringing in the hip hop, gangster rap, and we're weaponizing it. That's the word from the Chiefs. Then I know you want to get into hip hop that you say is the new crack cocaine epidemic culture war machine. And then I've got some amazing testimony I can give you on that exact fact, backing up what you have to say. Tell folks what you told me off air.
Well, I believe that what they've done is they've taken hip hop and they've made it glorious to be a drug dealer. You know, when I sold drugs, I hid. I didn't want anybody to know I sold drugs. But now they got these guys who've never sold drugs, technically. You know, one guy was a correctional officer who goes by the name of Rick Ross now. He took my whole identity, and the court said that he could do it, that he could prance around the country and say that he's me and take my whole life and use it, and there was nothing I could do about it. I can't stop him.
He even grew a beard just like you.
Everything. So now they take these guys, and these guys say, well, I got to the position that I'm in right now today by selling drugs. So the message that it tells our kids is that if you go out, you sell drugs, then you can become a great rock star like myself and never go to prison. And I think that that's a false message to be given people who feel hopeless.
And notice they don't indict the people that are fake and claim all that. No, they want them out there like a lanternfish has that light to get the little fish to swim over so they can eat them.
Exactly, and that's what I believe. I mean, if I were to go on tape and say, oh yeah, I sold 300 kilos of cocaine, and now you got me admitting that I did that, they would indict me for it. But the way they're doing it now, they're saying it's just art form. It's just a form of art, and I believe that it's sucking in our kids, and you know, you turn on the radio and it's just filled with it.
What do you want to say to Rick Ross? Because he'll probably see this video. Well, the fake Rick Ross.
I would tell him that it's time to change, that it's time to tell the kids the truth, you know, and let them know that technically he's never sold drugs and that he didn't get his money from selling drugs, that Universal gave him the money to do the things that he's doing, that it's okay to admit that you never did that, and not let our kids believe that they can go out and sell drugs and never pay a penalty for doing that.
Does it make you angry to see him doing that?
Well, really, the whole culture. I mean, I'm disappointed in the whole culture. Really, not really him, because I don't think that he understands what he's doing. To him, I believe that he's making a living, and he's almost like I was when I sold drugs. So he don't understand
But you were actually doing it and taking the risk. He's out there selling this culture and this idea where young kids are going to go out and get their lives ruined or killed. In my book, that's a lot worse than what you did.
It possibly
At least you had your butt hanging out there.
Yeah, and they're getting it to maybe even more people than I did. I mean, you know.
Well, notice, though, even though these guys are fake gangsters, they're always getting shot up and killed because real gangsters come after them, or other people that think they're gangsters come after them. It's totally sick.
It is. But then, you know, you go to our schools and guess who you hear on the radio? Playing on in a high school gym on the turntables. Guess who you hear on there? Jay-Z.
Well, I'm glad you're speaking to high schools and colleges. We need to get you to just thousands of them. We need to shut this down.
Well, you know, and you say that it's harder for me to get in with my message than it is for them. They'll pay these guys $100,000 to come there and tell the kids how much drugs they sold and how glorious it is to sell drugs, and they don't even want me on campus.
Because you're going to tell them, it's the government, it'll ruin your life, don't touch it. And by the way,
you're going to go to prison forever if you don't.
And it's that message that'll keep kids off drugs. Not the one of, oh, it's sexy and fun. You want to get involved in this. This is how you really start rolling and getting all the chicks and everything. No, you're not going to get any of that. You're going to end up getting TB in a prison cell.
Exactly. And get your lights cut off at 7 o'clock at night. Told when to get up in the morning, when to go to bed, and how to live your life.
It makes me sick.
And they're going to give you a job. Oh, you can't get a job on the street? Oh, well, they got a job for you in prison. It's called Unicore. And you're going to make money, prison money, 25 cents an hour. And the job that you're going to be doing, skillful job. Because people on the street, well, they get $35 an hour to do that same job. But we're only going to give you 25 cents. But that's all you need. Because we're going to feed you, house you, we wash your clothes for you. You have nothing to worry about in here.
And then the good old boys sit around going, I hear they got hot tubs and cable in them prisons. I say make them work. And then they wonder why their son or daughter can't get a job in a factory because the factories are all built on the side of the prisons.
Absolutely.
For 25 cents an hour.
Yep. And then they charge you as much as 50 cents a minute for a phone call.
So you got to work 2 hours to talk to your wife or your girlfriend or your son or daughter for 2 minutes.
Yep. Absolutely. And then, visits, they only let you visit twice a week.
It is such an evil plan.
And then you may be like I was, where your family is in L.A. and they got you in Texarkana, Texas. So you may only see your family once a year, if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
You look like you're about to cry thinking about all those kids getting sucked in by those spiders run by Universal and all the rest of them. I mean, they're setting up webs to catch kids and put them in that prison.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When, they got what they call now, I just spoke at a conference in San Francisco. They call it from Head Start to the prison pipeline. So they say they can tell right now. They got people that say they can tell right now a kid that's in kindergarten if he's going to prison.
Well, I read a report. It was in mainstream news in New Mexico about 2 years ago that the biggest prison corporation in the world was financing security at the school and was there admitting they're preparing those kids to go to prison. That the whole thing is just an induction pipeline right into the prison.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it. I mean, how would people stand around and go for something like this here? I can't do it.
Well, there are people like Professor Griffin and others that are exposing what's happening in hip-hop.
Yeah. I spoke to Professor Griffin. We're planning on doing some things together.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. Army veteran, really smart guy, trying to expose what's happening.
Well, the record labels are not going to touch those guys, though.
Even though they're the real pioneers of hip-hop.
Absolutely. But he can't get a record on the radio. Totally underground. It's going to be up to us, the people in the streets, like, what you're doing right now. I mean, mainstream won't touch me. They won't give me an interview. They won't talk to me. A drug dealer in my studio? Never.
Instead, you're the real Rick Ross saying don't use drugs. And they got the other Rick Ross running around making kids think it's sexy, and they want him in the schools. That's because the spiders want to get those kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Stay there. I want to come back, get into anything else you want to cover, and take phone calls, and I'll tell you my story about the inside. Your Twitter questions, your phone calls when we start the next segment. Rick had more he wanted to say about, quote, dumbing down. He was describing it like, I guess training wheels on the kids right into prison. Get more into that, Rick Ross. We're talking about hip-hop and how they program the kids on how they're supposed to act.
Well, like myself, Alex, they made me believe that I was dumb, that I couldn't read. And, people ask me all the time, who was it? Was it my mom who didn't teach me how to read? Was it the school? Well, I don't really know. But what I do know is that I had come up with a mentality about myself that I was dumb, that I was stupid, that all I should be was a thug. And that thugging was cool. And when I looked around from my prison cell and I started to look at all my friends, that they all thought the same way. And it was this programming that put us in this position that dealing drugs and gangbanging was easy for us to accept. And I believe that hip-hop is doing that right now, but on a more massive scale. The kids now, they wear their pants like we used to. They talk the things that we used to.
They're ready for prison.
Absolutely.
They're ready to be punked.
Absolutely. It's at an all-time high right now.
It must be a joke to the CIA mind controllers to have the young guys already wearing their pants saying, hey, I'm ready to be raped. I mean, they must be really proud of the masterful job they've done. And now they're deploying that hip-hop culture into everything. It's taking over.
Oh, absolutely. Endorsements. I mean, big companies, companies that wouldn't touch that type of lifestyle before, is all over.
They don't want to have kids wearing sports jackets and doing well, and you've got a future, and no, you're crap. And now the rock and roll music's, oh, we're all dead, we have no future, humans are crud. They need us to feel bad about ourselves, and that we're hurting the earth, so we roll over and basically become slaves.
Absolutely.
Other points you wanted to make before we go to break?
And that's the point that I believe right now that our kids are in, and that's why I'm out here on the streets working to let them know that I couldn't read, but I eventually started doing law. I found the issue that eventually helped me get out of prison. So, I wrote a book now. And
you're here warning people about drugs right now.
Absolutely.
And that's what matters is you've changed. You understand what you did wrong. And that's more valuable than somebody that never even went through the trials and tribulations. You're a veteran.
Right.
A veteran of this tyranny. And you're here seeing through the matrix now. That's a beautiful thing. It's like Christ is on the cross and he's there next to the thief and everything. And the thief apologizes, accepts it. His heart's right. And Christ says, tonight you'll be with me in paradise. But the soldiers and everybody, they just went along with it.
Yeah.
They think they're winners in this world, and they're not.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got to warn the young people to never use drugs the first time. I mean, marijuana is a gateway, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't decriminalize it just so they can't throw you in jail. But the whole drug culture is ruining people, and the prescription drugs are pushing on kids in the schools are worse than the illegal drugs, and just stay away from them and realize you're not empty if you get bad grades. And then, so you got to go to the dark side. You're not empty just because you don't have a bunch of money. You can paint, you can music, you can go out and help people. That's what's going to empower you is going out and standing up to bullies, not just feeling bad because you don't live like people on television.
Yeah, we all can't be on television. It's crazy that they tell us that, if you don't have a pair of Air Jordans, that you're not special.
Well, I mean, I was happier before I had all this responsibility and was, quote, on radio and TV and barely had money to buy 3 pairs of shoes a year, even though that was rich compared to poor people. I mean, I was totally happy. I was thinking back to the years when I was, out of high school and stuff, and my parents were giving me no help because I didn't ask for it, really, and I was so poor. It was the happiest time of my life without all these responsibilities and the rest of it. And I'm not saying people shouldn't become successful. It's just that what matters is that you're a good person. That's the real value.
It is. And that you care about others. Because when you don't care about other people, then I believe that you're the worst. And a lot of people that's in power right now, they don't care about anything but your dollars.
In fact, they enjoy hurting people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a diabolical plan to ship heroin in to get millions of Americans addicted from the 50s on, and then to bring in cocaine, weaponize it as crack, which is a CIA recipe that was declassified, and to deploy it right into black neighborhoods. I mean, that's a nasty thing to do.
It is, absolutely. To a people that doesn't have, that's hopeless.
And then to sell them thug culture, because let me tell you, I'm downtown Austin, and there's, basically, I call them black Klan members, whatever, just black thug culture. There's white thug culture as well, but they've been sold it's okay to hate white people. I mean, but I see the plan, though. I see the whole programming to make them like that and to make them hate me, and then I realize how it's all to divide everybody so the system can manage us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's diabolical.
Absolutely.
That is sick. That is mind control. So we've got to transcend it, ladies and gentlemen, and defeat it. We'll get your take on what I just said when we come back, Rick Ross, and go right to your phone calls and your Twitter questions. I'll stop hogging him right now. His website is IamTheRealRickRoss.com. Jacob in Missouri, go ahead. You're on the air with Rick Ross.
Yeah, how you guys doing? I just got a quick question for each one of you. If you can just bear with me real quick. I don't use this word at all, but this is an epic interview. This just like a workout interview right here. But real quick, Mr. Ross, I literally did a fist pump when I heard you say that you're getting ready to do something with Professor Griff. I have 4 brothers. A couple of us, we're so much alike we don't get along. A couple of us, we don't see eye to eye on everything. But we have to drop our differences. I mean, what comes next is my question to you, and then I have a question for Alex too. What's next? Can you just get with people like Immoral Technique, KRS-One, and just combine? Like, everybody needs to organize and get together.
Well, I agree, but Professor Griffiths wanted to work with me, but I've gotten too busy. We need to get in the system's face And because they want to control music and say, we know you're doing it. Here's the master plan. Here's how you laid it out. And people don't put up with these gangbangers anymore. They're nothing but soldiers of the New World Order to destroy our communities. People need to laugh at these gangbangers, not make them heroes. That's my point. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you that we definitely got to do that, hit them right in the face. And like I said before, what Alex is doing right now, you know, most people won't even talk to me. They don't want to sit down and debate with me what happened in my life and what I went through. What they want to do is just say, oh, you're no good two-bit drug dealer. You should have stayed in prison for the rest of your life. You know, you shouldn't even be out of prison. They don't want to look at the facts, you know, why I didn't learn how to read till I was 28 years old. Why was the school pushing me through? And these are the issues that need to be dealt with. You know, why are there 600,000 black men, just black men? And why this country has 2.2 million people in prison right now, and I think like 50-something million on paper.
It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment. We may do some overdrive with the real Rick Ross. I'm Alex Jones. Here's a question that I want to get to. Have you ever reached out to big artists about deglorifying drug dealing, i.e. Jay-Z, etc.? And if so, what was their reaction?
Well, I tried to reach out to everybody in hip-hop about us coming together and changing this culture and so forth. Nobody would touch me. Did have a meeting with Dr. Dre and brought up the subject, and I was cut off.
Really?
Yeah. So right now I'm out on my own. You know.
So the man, I mean, people know you talk about this, you push this poison culture, or the big boys aren't going to put you on the radio.
Oh, absolutely not. They're not going to touch you. You start doing the things that I'm doing, you know, I have to sell my T-shirts, and I bought you one of my shirts, too.
Thank you, sir.
I have to sell my T-shirts and my books to pay my way around the country.
Good-looking shirt. Let me ask you a question. How do folks book you to come speak to their college, their church, or their high school?
They can get me on Instagram or Twitter or my website, rickrossbooks.com, Freeway Rick website, and they can book me there.
I'm going to wear this shirt. I hope it's an extra large. It is.
It's an extra large.
Oh, they told you I was big. Okay, the real Rick Ross is not a rapper. I tell you, I'm going to wear this shirt.
And it's a nice shirt, too. You feel the quality?
I love that fabric.
Yeah, I use some nice cotton because I know we like nice things. So I hooked it up, and I think it's important that we send a message to all these guys. You know, everybody who's promoting this drug culture.
I like the fact that Mark Dice, one of our contributors, he really goes after Rick Ross.
I love Mark.
He's awesome. So you know who he is. Good.
Yeah, I know who Mark is. Mark is wonderful. You know, he hits me up on Twitter and Instagram, and we talk about the whole 9 yards. And he went in on the rapper for what he did, you know, and what he's doing. And I think more people should. You know, we should not only go.
He stole your identity to sell kids on going to prison. That's got to make you mad.
Yeah, it should. Should make everybody mad. And not only mad at him, but mad at the radio stations, mad at the Universal and Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I don't think adults know what's in this music. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.